Everybody, in this story, Deep Water, the writer W. Douglas, he narrated his experiences of drowning in the water. His first experience, he was standing when he was 4 years old. He was standing at California beach with his father. Then the huge wave of the sea rose. The huge wave of the sea overpowered them. The child was very much frightened. He clung to his father, and father laughed because the father was enjoying. And it is the first experience of Douglas. Since then, he had the fear of water. But in his mind, one fact was there that he wanted to learn, he must learn how to swim. Everybody, he must learn how to swim. He made up his mind to learn swimming. There were two options. One was Yakima River. Yakima River was said to be very dangerous river. It has taken many lives. Many people drowned in the Yakima River because it is said to be treacherous. Treacherous means mischievous. Many people died because it has the flowing water. There is uncertainty where it is deep. And there was another option, that was YMCA pool. YMCA pool. YMCA pool was 4 feet deep. 4 feet deep. Let us suppose this is the YMCA pool, part of YMCA pool. It was 4 feet deep, but at the end it was 9 feet deep. But the depth was gradual, not sudden. You can see 4 feet deep and here 9 feet deep. It is a sudden depth. This sudden depth can be dangerous. And this was 9 feet deep at the end, but the depth was gradual in the sloping way. Means 4 feet, then 5 feet, 6 feet, 7 feet, 9 feet, in this way, gradual. So it was the safest place for him to learn swimming. He was all alone. Many people would watch there. He would also splash the water. It is a child pleasure of a child to splash the water. Chop, 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 chop. Great pleasure he would enjoy. One day what happened here? Very skinny, a boy, muscled boy, having the rippling muscles, arrived there. W. Douglas was all alone. He was waiting for someone to come. He cannot dare to go into the water, YMCA pool all alone. And the muscled boy of 18 years picked up W. Douglas and said, "I skinny," and tossed him to the 9 feet deep water. 9 feet, he was now struggling. He did not know how to swim. He has learned a lot in the theory. Remember, one who knows theory cannot be practical. One who can preach for hours regarding how to swim, what one has to do for swimming, one can lecture, but when he is pushed into the deep water, he cannot swim. Lecturing is one thing, practical is another thing. Main thing is the practical. And when he learned the theory, he was applying his complete theory in his drowning, in the process of drowning. And he describes the scene of drowning vividly. He felt that first of all, he was in the mouth of death. He cried. Nobody but water listened to his cry. He was planning. His mind was at work. He was planning that when he was touching the bottom, he will strike the bottom hard and he will come, okay, on the surface of water like the cork in the bottle. He was planning, but it did not happen. He could hit the bottom, but as per his planning, he could not get up. So now he was obeying his hands and legs as if they were paralyzed because of the fear. the hands were paralyzed, but mind was at work. 9 feet deep water, 9 feet deep water appears to be 90 feet deep water. Why it is so? Because of the theory of relativity. Theory of relativity, as Einstein says, nothing happens, things happen as per their relativity with the time, person, place, and circumstances. In sorrow, time expands. Time expands means 1 minute appears to be 1 hour, 1 hour appears to be 1 day. But in pleasure, time shrinks. 1 hour appears to be 1 minute. 1 day appears to be 1 hour. It is a theory of relativity. Time runs with the same speed, but our mind notices or catches the time as per the relativity of our feelings, good feelings or bad feelings. So 9 feet deep water appears to be 90 feet deep water. Actually, it was not so, because he was in the sorrow. That is why the things expanded automatically. Now again he was planning. Nothing happened. His legs were paralyzed. Now whatever could be done, he did. Now he thought whatever could be done, he did. Nothing happened. So he stopped doing. Why he stopped doing? Because whatever he was doing could produce no result. So better not to do anything. So stop and wait and watch. When he waited and watched, he had the peace of mind. When he surrendered himself to Almighty, because why? Almighty, what I could do, I did. What could I have done, I did. Nothing more can be done. Nothing more can be done. So he stopped doing. He surrendered himself before Almighty. जिधर ले चलोगे उधर हम चलेंगे, जिधर नाथ रख दोगे उधर हम रहेंगे. Then he had a peace of mind. We can't have the peace of mind. Why we can't have the peace of mind? Because we do something. We have the ego that I am doing, I can do. Somebody can help me. Help will come from there. When one knows that help is coming from nowhere, then one stops thinking. Then one has the peace of mind. Draupadi, when her sari was being, okay, she was going to be nagged by Dusasan, she had the faith that her husband would help her. Kauravas will help her, Dhritarashtra will help, Dronacharya, Bhishma, they will help, but they could not help. Then she surrendered before Krishna. Krishna, help me, help me. Then he stopped thinking that help will come from this corner or that corner. No, help will come from the corner of the God himself. He surrendered. Then he had the peace of mind. He wrote, when I stopped, then he had the peace of mind. Now, my dear, he felt his mind was at work. His parts of body stopped working. They were paralyzed. But he can feel that somebody is lifting him. He was unconscious because he was in the mouth of death. He was in the mouth of death. In the mouth of death, he was unconscious. There was yellowish water. He cried earlier, but his cry, his scream was heard only by the water. As someone was picking him up, he was brought at the bank of the pool. So he was okay. Butter, the process of butter coming out of his body was on. In the meantime, the old person said to the 18 young man, hello, you threw it. It's the same. He said, nothing. I thought it's the pleasure. Pleasure, the child is going to die. You say it is a pleasure. He was scolded. Then he did not know. Throughout the night, he was in the state of unconsciousness. Then he awoke. Now he had the haunting fear of water. He wanted to avoid water because he developed fear in his mind. Mental fear is more dangerous than the physical fear. The fear was in his mind. He wanted to enjoy water-related activity. What were the water-related activity? Swimming, rafting, boating, fishing. He cannot deprive himself. He was deprived of water-related activity. So he made up his mind, his strong willpower, his strong determination that come what may, he will learn swimming. He will learn swimming. Then he had the services of a tutor. Tutor would come 5 days a week, 5 days a week, 1 hour every day. He had a rope. He tied writer at the end of the rope, and other end he had, with the help of the pulley, the writer was made to jump into the water. Then he learned. Now, for 1 month, the instructor was in his company. The instructor could teach him every skill of swimming. Okay, back swimming, front swimming. Okay, when he thought he's expert, he could know. Only practice is required. Now he was practicing, but still he had the fear. He cannot dare to go deep in the water, but he struggled with the fear. Remember, fear frightens. Okay, when you want to avoid the fearful activity. What is fear? Fear is objective or subjective? Who can tell? Fear is objective or subjective? Can you answer the question? Any of you? Among you, the participants present before me are 10 or 11. Tell me whether the fear is objective or subjective. Hello. Fear is objective or subjective? Listen to. Fear is objective means fear is in one object. Let us suppose snake is there. Snake. Mera dasa hua mage na pani. Snake. The snake will frighten everybody differently, not in the same quantity. Some of you can catch the snake. Some of you can stand at a distance of the snake. Some of you cannot imagine even the snake is there in the room, cannot think of going in a particular room where the snake is there. So, fear is subjective. Subjective means individual differences are there. Everybody frightens with degree, some degree. So, object frightens us differently. So, what is how to avoid the fear? The only way to avoid the fear is to do what frightens you. Do what frightens you again and again to be free from fear. This is the only way. If you try to avoid the fear, if you try to avoid the activity which frightens you, remember, you are tripling or doubling your fear. So he challenged the fear. Hey fear, you are with me, I challenged you. It was his strong willpower. Because of the strong willpower, he overcame fear. He did, because this was frightening him. Because it was frightening him. So many times he did what frightens him. And he challenged the fear as if the fear is personified. Hey fear, you frightens me. Okay, let me see who wins. And ultimately he wins. He overcame his fear. It is because of his strong willpower. So this lesson presents us how he overcame his fear, how he felt in the course of drowning. These are the important issues in this lesson.